I'm Joanne Haratunian, and I'm the Executive Director of the MusicLink Foundation. Welcome. I'd like to talk to you about MusicLink and its 25-year legacy and the significance of music in the lives of disadvantaged students. First, what is MusicLink anyway? You've probably heard the name and just curious about what it's all about. Well, I'll tell you. First, let's begin with the basics. It began in 1992, so it's almost 30 years old now. And its mission is to link a promising student in financial need with a caring teacher who agrees to teach for whatever the student can pay for as long as the student wishes to learn. Students' financial need is based on eligibility for free and reduced lunch. And promising student is one who's eager to learn and motivated, as noticed by the people who nominate him to the program. School music teachers, existing teachers, parents, those are the nominators to the program. MusicLink teachers agree to teach for half their normal fee or less, and it's usually much less. Coordinators work as liaisons between the family and the teachers to create the links. MusicLink teachers do not receive payment, but are eligible for a variety of business discounts and reimbursement for event fees and student music and materials. MusicLink students are eligible for camp scholarships, and MusicLink awards outstanding senior high school graduating seniors and that would receive a $1,000 scholarship for some of the outstanding ones, and many performance opportunities throughout their education. How are we doing? Let's look at the progress. We have reached 7,800 students and growing in all 50 states, and teachers have provided 575,000 hours of lessons, equivalent to $16 million of in-kind scholarships. Overall, we've had 4,000 teachers involved and 250 coordinators. Now, in our 20th anniversary, we decided, hey, we're doing great. Let's let everybody know this. And why would be the best way to do it would be research that will show them statistically how good we are. So we started our quantitative research in the 20th year. We looked at all the forms that were used in the program about student progress, and we looked at them carefully, and we did statistical analysis of the value of the forms themselves and what they're saying about the students. And the results of that were published in the American Music Teacher in April 2014. So if you're interested in that research, do look that up in the American Music Teacher. Today, I'm going to talk about the interview study that we did. We interviewed students who had taken lessons with MusicLink for 5 years or more, and were now 18 years or older, so we're adults. And they were interviewed by George Mason University students over a 3-year period. The graduate students in the music department. It was an excellent experience for them. Let's look at the first handout, and you'll see just who these students were. As you see in the first handout, we had 15 students, and they were from 21 to 33 years old. They were different ethnicities, as you can see, and different instruments, and they were currently doing different things in different schools. At this point, many of them were still in school. There were 2 students who had physical disabilities or differences. One was blind and the other was autistic. So we have a spectrum of different things, all MusicLink students enjoying music lessons. And we had an interview with them, as well as their parents, 13 parents, and 12 teachers with 25 to 50 years of experience. So they were excellent, experienced teachers. Let's look at Figure 2. In Figure 2, you will see that these are the categories that were derived from the interview. So that when we were talking with the different teachers and parents and students, these different categories evolved, the topics evolved. And you'll see that S is student, and T is teacher, and P is parent. So you see how many times they mentioned that particular topic in their interview. So if you look at what is highlighted in green, you will see that those were things that were mentioned 50 times or more. So we have musical depth, passion, appreciation, and love under the category of personal traits and characteristics, as well as creativity, self-expression, commitment, discipline, recognition of talent, and challenge and persistence. Well, we all agree that those are definitely personal traits and characteristics of a talented musical student. The lessons were very important to these students, and especially the relationship between the teacher and the student, and you can see that. And they were motivated and inspired by these lessons. Family environment influence is very important with this population of student, and they would definitely seek out opportunities socially in connection with the churches and their families and relatives to do music. They just loved it. So there was a support through that environment. And they did mention MusicLink, and they really appreciated the scholarship that they received for the lessons. They were all attributing it that they were very pleased that they were recognized because they had potential talent. So it wasn't just because of financial need, but because they were good at music. Now, here's a quote from a teacher. There's some teacher quotes here that are wonderful from these interviews. I am committed to MusicLink because of a lifelong belief in equality. The idea that one might lose out for economic reasons is entirely unacceptable. We all should be eligible for the deep sense of joy and wonder that comes with expressing ourselves through music. Financial well-being should have no bearing on an individual's opportunity to study music. The greatest reward for me has been to observe the excitement and engagement of my students, and the pleasure of knowing they would never have had the opportunity to study music and enjoy music without MusicLink. One parent noticed that these lessons gave her daughter self-esteem, and maybe a sense of identity among her peers when people would say to her, "Hey, you're the one who plays the piano so well." And it taught her performance skills that will identify and definitely serve her for the rest of her life. Another teacher, studying music nurtures intellectual discipline and the emotional quality of being able to express feelings through music. It's the difference between just doing something mechanical, like playing all the notes, or to be able to use yourself as the vehicle between the composer's idea and your listener's understanding. I think that enhances communication skills, just like verbal skills, but the ability to express yourself emotionally, I think that's an enormous value in life. Now, let's talk about some of these teachers. First, here is a teacher, Tamara Slobodkin, from New York. She's been in MusicLink for almost 20 years now. And she has a special experience teaching a family of MusicLink students that she'd like to tell you about.
Approximately 20 years ago, when MusicLink started, a family of 5 students came to me. The 3 older girls had already some lessons from a different teacher, and there were 2 younger boys. The parents decided that because they did not have the resources to start the 2 younger boys, all the students would have to stop studying because they did not want any favoritism. I convinced them that all the students could become MusicLink students. My husband agreed, and that's what happened. They were a family of extremely gifted musically and intellectually. When they left my studio, 2 of them went to medical school and kept telling me that whenever they pass a piano, they would sit down and play. The oldest boy, who was the most gifted, after he had a full scholarship to MIT, continued his piano work, performs publicly, and music has been part of their life and will always be part of their life. And it was only because MusicLink was available to them.
Now let's look at Martha Smith. Martha Smith is a MusicLink laureate teacher, and she has taught over 20 years many MusicLink students and is a vibrant teacher, as you'll see in a few minutes. And she was a member of the MusicLink Board of Directors for many years. So let's hear about MusicLink from Martha Smith.
Let me tell you about some of the students I have had through the MusicLink program. They're students who really made the most of the opportunities that they were offered. They always managed to show up at playathons and recitals and places that they could show what they had learned. They also applied themselves to their schoolwork, and they tended to do very well in school. I have one student who has become a physician, another has her master's in architecture, and one now teaches music in a public school in Arlington. So those are success stories that I value, and I try to keep up with these students, and 25 years later, I'm still enjoying the benefits of MusicLink. Thank you.
One interesting thing that arose from these interviews was in relation to practice. These interviews revealed that the early lessons began with practice averaging from 30 minutes to an hour. But as lessons continued and their skills advanced, students practiced from 2 to 6 hours a day. That would equate to 120 to 100 hours of practice per month, or over 2,000 hours per year during their teenage years. Now, if anyone has looked at the science between practice and expertise, they know that this aligns with that idea of 10 hours of practice over a course of 10 years for advanced musicians who've dedicated practice habits. Well, those are our students. So that's an interesting idea when we looked at the real practice of these students. Now, one person talked about that, one of the students. Once you start to love music, practicing takes on a different kind of idea to me. Now, whenever I'm not doing anything, I just kind of gravitate towards the piano. I guess there are differences now. I spent a lot of time on the piano, but I wouldn't consider it practice. And then there are times where I need to sit down and work on specific things. Those are times that I would consider practice. Get the metronome out. Actually hash out a bunch of stuff. Now, after these interviews, we decided 5 years later, we should do a follow-up to see now these people are adults and in a career. What are they doing and what do they think about music in their lives now? So we found 8 of the students that were from the interview study originally, and we wanted to see how music played a part in their lives now. So the survey had questions based on what we had found out from the interview, and it was a total of 40 points for the questions. Now, if you can look at figure 3, we will see the results of that MusicLink survey. And you will see highlighted in green all of the questions that were answered from 37 to 40, all right? And underneath personal traits and characteristics, I must mention the one that had 40, meaning that every single person felt that this was highly significant in their lives. Realizing music as an integral part of my life. Musical depth, passion, and appreciation. That really got to me because I felt as though that showed a very deep thinking and caring adult, and music played a part in that. And then they also realized the importance of musical talent now that they were adults. All of those 4 under lessons were things that were rated of 35 and above, and that is definitely what they had learned through their lessons. And the support of the family was still there, as you can see. And they did appreciate the financial need for MusicLink with those scholarship lessons. As an adult, they said that really counted and that meant something to us. So that was important. Now, what happened to these students? Well, 3 became professional musicians. A composer who completed degrees in Juilliard and Princeton, and one who is teaching in college presently and composing chamber music, and one professional jazz musician. And others were in an assortment of different fields in medicine, in accounting, in science, things like that. Now, we asked them to make some comments on the bottom of the survey. One person said, "I don't think there was ever a time when I realized that I have great potential to do anything in music, but I just loved it. Always had really desire and necessity to do it. I've always felt I couldn't live unless I was either writing or playing music." One final student said, "The MusicLink program plays a vital role in the development of not just pianists, but a generation of individuals and leaders who know how to take on the world and bring their wildest dreams into fruition. Whether it's realizing that fast tempo for the virtuoso piece that you've been dying to play, or it's changing some aspect of the world in some way, the approach and mindset that a MusicLink program instills in its students enable them to bring their dreams into reality. Keep it up! What better way for us to finish than having two people who are now these adult MusicLink students and now adults who are professional musicians. The first is David Kim. He will explain his growing up with MusicLink. I remember David as a young boy. He had troublesome problems because of changing homes and spaces. But wherever he was, we were able to find a teacher for him because everyone knew just how talented this young man was. And he'll tell you a little bit about his story. So now let's listen to David Kim.
Hello, my name is David Kim. I am currently serving as a music faculty at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia, and also as the alumni chair of MusicLink Foundation. Growing up, our family moved a lot as a minister's family. We were also an immigrant family, which my parents did not really know any music institution to reach out to for my piano lessons. Coming from Korea, ever since as an elementary school student, I knew that being a musician was my life goal and passion. However, like my parents, I too had no idea how to go about it. Not being fluent in English, I couldn't really mingle with other schoolmates during recess that much. So what did I do? I discovered a piano in a music classroom, and during every recess, I would go there to play the piano. From there, I began to discover the universal language, which we know is music, faster than the speed of learning a new language of English. It was that same music room that my music teacher saw me and led me to my first piano teacher here in the US, Mrs. Judy Schultz, who was a MusicLink Foundation teacher at the time. From there, MusicLink Foundation became my musical fertilizer, if you will, to my musical career. No matter where our family moved to, the MusicLink Foundation was always by my side, connecting me to amazing teachers such as late Mrs. Judy Ferentz, Dr. Glenn Caldwell, and Dr. David Crowder, and many others, who are now also my lifelong friends and mentors, not just in music, but in all aspects of life. One of the factors of becoming to be a composition major over a piano major was when I was in high school, I participated in a piano master class through MusicLink Foundation with pianist Awarajin Pratt, where I also played one of my own compositions that led me to really believe that I should continue studying music composition after my high school years. Again, through amazing lessons and events such as these, through the MusicLink Foundation, I was able to be well equipped to continue my musical studies as a composition major at the Cleveland Institute of Music. And now, teaching our next generations of musicians here at VCU, which I am following the model of how my past music teachers have influenced me as a performer, composer, and as a human being, as I am guiding my own students, now both as their teacher and mentor.
We end this presentation with a wonderful performance by Justin Kauflin. He is a professional jazz pianist, and he has been with MusicLink since he was 10, 7 years old, whatever. Always wonderfully talented. He lost his sight at the age of 10, but he was able to continue his music. He had a phenomenal ear, even to the point we had got a special recording kind of equipment where you could listen to music and the music would be slow, but the pitch would be the same. So he would learn Bach fugues that way. But he went into jazz, which was his forte and his love and his real passion. And now he is a professional jazz pianist. He has been around the world. He has wonderful recordings that you can hear. And you're going to hear a little bit of one of his sessions where he's going to be playing a piece by Oscar Peterson in his own way. And I think you'll enjoy it. If you want to know anything more about MusicLink, about any of these students, please feel free to contact me. musiclink.foundation@gmail.com is one way to do it. And I'd love to hear from you. And now I think we'd like to listen to Justin Kauflin. Thank you.